organize your data, right? So that's what we're deciding today, how we're going to organize our data. But before we organize it, we have to take it. So if you look at page 83, there's a procedure. You're going to take the height of everybody sitting at your table right now.
Yes, you have it on 7.
See, this close is better if he's like that.
No, because then...
No, there, look. Go get a book. Give me your book.
No, Brian.
Here, I printed off 2 copies of the adult ones right now.
68.
And when we take data, it's important to be
You sure?
accurate.
68.
64, 65?
Oh yeah, 90 plus 68.
91 again.
62?
So then, with your groups, what I'd like you to do is decide which representation of those 3 is the best for representing the data that you have. Pay specific attention to the points on the paper that it tells you what each one of those representations is good for. When you decide, what I'd like you to do next to that one in the conclusions box, or excuse me, the evaluation box, is write why you picked it. In the 2 you did not pick, go ahead in those boxes and explain why you didn't pick those 2.
You can just see by the way it looks. Those are because we can't collect. That's like mostly.
Israel, why are you saying that? So if you genuinely disagree, nothing says that you have to come up with the same answer at your tables, but be ready to defend your answers.
Oh.
Which Javier loves, and I'm gonna call on Javier.
You're making this too hard. You're making this harder than it should be.
I haven't said anything in like 5 minutes. You guys are the ones that are asking these really in-depth questions, which is great. I don't know. Are we ready to put our Post-it notes up there and see what happens?
Yes.
Okay.
You should have put on top.
Wait, you're on floor?
There we go.
I'm sorry.
What kind of trends did you notice? Paulina says that boys are taller than girls. More boys are taller than girls. I like that. I like you qualified that.
Makes it look good too. I mean, it makes it look good.
Makes it look like we missed one right here, right?
What happens with the really good bowlers? They all go down. Do the pins just nicely fall down?
No.
What happens to the pins?
They crash.
They crash and they shoot everywhere, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if we look at the pins and we think about how the ball hits the pins, could that tell us which one might have more energy?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when we do it when they have less energy, the pins wobble, might fall down, right? And when it has more energy, it shoots everywhere. Does that make sense? So today, when we look at kinetic energy, we're going to look at what the impact is of our moving objects. And we're going to do observations of a banana. So we want to look at how do we think that speed of a moving object affects the amount of kinetic energy.
Wait,
throw it? I know.
yeah, but not that hard.
Just
Make sure that's correct first before I kill my face.
I don't know.
Okay, that was loud. Where's the marker? The marker right here. Oh. I want to see this again. I'm sorry I ever hurt you.
So what happened? Even though you did point two.
Oh,
Independent was?
Speed.
And the dependent was?
Squeeze.
What was one control? Height, can, and the ball. My conclusion question, I gave you guys time to write. The question was, how does speed affect the amount of kinetic energy in a moving object? Jonathan.
Speed increase because of the force. When speed increase because of the mass of the soup can, it goes down faster. so it keeps increasing. And the more velocity it has, the more damage it will do.
Okay. Can somebody else share with me?
Initially, when we looked at IQuest as the program that we wanted for our students, some of the teachers in the district were hesitant. The program's robust, it is rigorous, there's reading involved. The students will have to find evidence in text and evidence in their data and support what they're saying. I'm not sure if our kids can do this, some of them said. Our district is, some would call it urban. We have 70% Hispanics, 20% African American, and 10% Asian whites. We are a Title I school. We're underperforming in some areas, and there was some concern that our kids would really struggle with this and not be able to succeed. We went ahead. We believed that our kids could do it. We put it in. We supported our teachers with reading strategies, with other kinds of support systems that would help enable them to scaffold whatever kind of learning or practice the students needed to be able to succeed at the high levels of expectations that are built into IQuest. And we have seen nothing but high performance out of all of our kids. So we brought this IQuest program forward to our board and we said, this is a program that's going to change our kids' lives. This is the program that's going to help our kids grow. So we wanted to be able to go back to the board in a year and actually show them evidence that what we said was actually going to happen. And so what we had done is we gave internal, we call them interim assessments. They were aligned to, at the time, what our schools were measured on, the ACT type of questions. We had given our 8th graders the year before this assessment, at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year. And then the following year when we implemented IQuest, we gave the same assessment, different batch of 8th graders, same assessment, beginning of year, end of year. With the IQuest program, the 8th graders grew tremendously by 20, 30, some of them by 40% in certain strands, such as interpreting data, finding 2 pieces of data in a graph. There were literacy strands that we measured, like understanding basic scientific terminology, and also finding information in text. So clearly, and we were very proud to be able to bring that data back and say, IQuest is working, please continue to support it.